Hello everybody, how you all doing? I'm just getting bubbles in my eyes. Just one more. Oh, it's right, it's not going to be a whole video of me blowing bubbles. Or any other X-chips of Michael Jackson's. Just a quick drink. Look, it's non-alcoholic as well. Man. Yeah, why did I start? Oh yes, that's right, yeah. Comic pickups. How are you all anyway? Sorry, I just having this like a bubble moment at the moment. How are you all? I hope you're all well. Yeah, everyone doing okay? Fair? Really good? Good week so far? Cool. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, comic pickups. I've got a few. Only a couple. And I've also got a bone to pick with Dr. Monkeybot. Sort of. I've sort of a bone to pick with Dr. Monkeybot. Because you know, I'm a part collector person. You know, those things that come out every fortnight and you get a like ow, like the Batmobile thing that comes out, and I just ended up getting a cardboard cup. Yeah, yeah. I'm a part collector. I've always liked them. Ever since I was young, it was one of those things that I used to get, as well as my comics and such. And I knew this was coming out because I saw it advertised. Well, not advertised. I saw it on eBay. Somebody was selling the first couple of issues of it on eBay. This one isn't. I'll get to the comics in a minute. This one isn't exactly the same as the other part collections that I get, where if you hear any banging, by the way, it's just Kirby. He should be asleep, but he's not. Go to sleep. Yeah, it's not like the other part collections where you get a figurine or something like that. You know, in one of the specials that they have, or you know, the usual figurine collection things that you see me do videos of, and I've still got to do some more of them. This one is just a weekly. How can I describe it? It's a weekly file sort of magazine. There used to be one called Quest, which was a science one, because I'm a science geek. I love all things, physics, chemistry, all that sort of stuff. I love it. It's brilliant. But when I was younger, I used to get this thing called Quest, which was a part weekly or fortnightly thing that you collected, and you know all this. There was a Star Wars one as well, which had all the characters, all the vehicles, and the androids, and the weaponry, and all that. Luckily enough, that one didn't go on for too long. But this one is a new one. It's come out this week. The first issue of it is 99p. I don't know if I'm going to be getting it. Knowing me, I probably will, but I don't know whether. I'll show you it anyway. It's the Marvel Fact Files #1. Okay, like I said, this one is 99p, 32-page magazine, and you can probably see there it's got hole punches on the side. Well, there's a reason for that. I'll get to that in a minute. The only thing you get free with it is a bit of cardboard. which is just really an advertising thing, and it shows you roughly what you'll get every week or so when you when you collect this this magazine. And if it's anything like the ones I've collected beforehand when I was younger, it could go on for some time. And because it's a Marvel thing, it probably could go on for a very long time, probably even longer than the Marvel figurine collections that I get at the moment. The first one has got Spider-Man on it. Oh, that does have something about Spider-Man in it. I'll quickly flick through it anyway. Hang on a second. Let me just get auto adjust. I should have done that before. Let's just make this a bit brighter. I should have done this before I started doing the video, but hey ho. There you go. You can see me now. There. Every week, we take all the gubbins out of the innards out of it. Every week, you get a magazine. Nothing else. No figurines or cars or anything like that. You don't get anything. You just get a magazine. You get some. I think with the second issue, you get a free folder, and I think I might be able to show you that. There. Yep, that's your free folder. It's a three ring binder, basically, like that. In issue 3, you get some divider cards there, which divide all what you get in here into things like Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, Cosmic, and I'm sure it goes on and on and on like that. I'm sure there's loads of different bits and pieces that you do it. Yeah, I've been going on talking about this for about 7 minutes now. And inside you have things like that, which is just a rundown of the characters, their history, their powers, certain key stories that have been major plots in the character's history. You got a picture of Incredible Hulk 181 there, I think. Is it 181? Yeah, 181. Which the first full appearance of Wolverine. Sorry, got an itch. And yeah, you got all these bits here. Weapon X. You got Wolverine. Chapter 2 here. Silver Fox. A whole bit about Silver Fox. And more stuff about Wolverine. One pretty interesting thing that you do get are these like pullouts, which gives you a whole almost like X-ray of Wolverine in his adamantium skeleton, and that, which I thought was pretty cool. And what else have you got? You've got with the Fantastic Four, you've got a schematic layout of the Baxter building. This one, you've got where is it? Overview history of the Avengers, X-Men, and so forth and so on. There was one bit in here that I thought was really cool, and I probably can't find it now. There was I'm sure I saw it in here. There was a whole schematic of Iron Man. I'm sure I saw it in this magazine, or maybe it was in something else. Hang on a second, let's have a look. What's in there? That's where I probably saw it. You get things like that which is a schematics of Iron Man's, Iron Man Mark 25. I didn't even realise there was that many Iron Man armors, really. I'm imagining that it's going to be updated as it goes on as well, and as I said, you get the holes there. That's because you can take the magazine apart. It's only very lightly glued down the side, so you take the pages out and you stick it in the folder into the corresponding divider cards that you get free with issue 3. You get this as well with it, which just gives you more gumph about what to expect for each issue. The histories of the heroes and the villains and the tech, locations. It's supposed to be the complete Marvel Universe, the history of the Marvel Universe and beyond. It would probably be okay for somebody who likes collecting part collections. I'm in two minds about getting it, mainly because of space. I believe that the next issue and consecutive issues are all going to be £2.99. The only thing that would make me want to get it would be the free gifts that you get when you subscribe to it, but you only get those free gifts if you do a postal subscription. So you have to phone them up or send them an order form for a direct debit or such and such. And with that, you get this free model of Spider-Man, free model of Iron Man, the first cover to the first issue of Fantastic Four #1, which is a tin plate cover. Pretty cool. Don't know if you can see it like that there. Pretty cool t-shirt, free. And you get a free calendar and also a free digital magazine download as well. And a possibility of winning an iPad, which chances are you ain't going to end up winning it anyway. Yeah, that's the only one. But then I'm not really one of those people that likes to order these through the post, because, like I said, I've heard some pretty bad things from other people who have done things like this, similar things like this, and they've ordered them through the post, and they get things sent to them that they don't want. They get, they end up getting nothing for a month or a couple of months, and then they get everything in about 2 or 3 months worth of stuff in one hit, and then get charged for a whole lot in one go, and all sort of things like that. Chances are they might have sorted it out by then, but am I going to get it? I don't know. I'll probably pick up issue 2 if it's in the local news agents. If I'm there when it's in there in the local news agents, and I've got some spare cash. Like I said, it's supposed to be only £2.99, so I'll see how that goes. The folder looks pretty cool, and it's always handy to have a 3-ring binder around with things like that. I don't know. I can't really see anything in here that you can't pull up off of the internet for free, quite frankly. I'm sure if it's anything like other part collections of its like, it looks very nice in the folders, and I'm sure after the first, I think it's every sort of like 15 or 20 issues, they give you another free folder to put the rest of your things in, and that, and then you've got to try and figure out how you spread out the different files, because not all sections have got exactly the same amount of pages in them, and but that's just a minor gripe really with that sort of thing. Again, £2.99 a week. It's not a fortnightly thing. This is a weekly magazine. £2.99. I think it's £2.99. Every week, newsagents. Yeah, regular price £2.99. So yeah, it looks nice, but like I said, you probably don't get any information in the magazine that you wouldn't be able to pull up off the internet like that. You know, that's it. Just as it really, it would really be getting it for the sake of novelty value more than anything else. And for £2.99, it is quite an expensive novelty item to have. I don't know how many issues it's going for. I haven't really looked into it that much on the internet. Like I said, if it's anything like previous collections, fact files like this that I've collected, there was a Star Wars one that, if I remember correctly, went on for about 80 issues. There was one, like I said, was a science and such one, which went on for about 140 issues. There was another one that I used to get, which was about the history of Britain, you know, UK and that, the royal family and all that, going right back to Ethelred the Unready and all that stuff, and right up to the modern. Well, I think it went up to Queen Victoria, I think, or George the Fifth, or something like that. It was a British history one that I got as well, and that one went on for a fair bit in all. I would say you're probably looking at least 100 issues of this, if not more. So that's going to be about 300 quid for, like I said, for stuff that you could more than likely pick off the internet fairly easily. So yeah, I'll pick up issue 2 and I'll show you guys issue 2 if you're interested in it. But this is just more just to show you guys what's now come out by Eagle Moss, the company that wants my money, basically. On to the comics. As you can see, I'm just getting the air out of the bags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 comics. I haven't read all of them, I'll admit that straight away. And I shall do the 2 that I haven't read yet. First up, from Image Comics, we have Lost Vegas, #1. Which is pretty interesting. If I remember correctly, this is a 3-issue miniseries. Already on eBay, it's gone for ridiculous amounts of money because it's a #1 issue from Image, and the scalpers are out in force with Image Comics. And like I said, I haven't read it yet. I don't really know what it's about. I picked it up because it was relatively cheap when I picked it up. So I heard that it could be an interesting comic to read. I might do a quick review on it a bit later on. I'll see how it goes with it and with time and everything. But excuse me, is it Lost Vegas #1? This is an old one that I have only just this morning got through the post. It seems that ever since Superior Spider-Man appeared in issue 21 of Daredevil and in issue 22 of Daredevil, Daredevil comics on eBay have, because I don't order this regularly from my local comic shop, Daredevil comics off eBay are going for ridiculous amounts of money again, as is anything that's coming out of Image Comics. I haven't read this one because I've only just picked it up. It's only just been sent to me. I got it. I think I won it last week for fairly cheap, considering the prices it's been going for buy it now. So there you go. But it's Mark Waid on Daredevil. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a flipping brilliant read. I'm imagining it's got it's going to have a continuation for the Foggy possibly having cancer, possibly not having cancer. I'm sure we're going to get some answers with that in there. And look at that cover. Look at that cover. If that doesn't say the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie to you, I don't know what does. With the 2D, the double D's on fire. I'm sure I've seen a video called that, double D's on fire. No, sorry. The double D's on fire. Just like in the Daredevil movie, which I know. If you saw it, did we talk about it in ExcaliburBrits? Did we talk it before? I know Ghost Critic and Dr. Monkeybot and myself talked about it briefly. One guy, Ghost Critic liked it. Dr. Monkeybot didn't think he liked it, or was it the other way around? I can't remember. I didn't say anything. I was being very very on the fence about it, but I will admit I did enjoy it, even though it did have some pretty big flaws in it. Not least the fact that, yes, Daredevil has got all these amazing powers, and he can, you know, he's got sonar and he's super fit and agile and everything, but somehow somebody who's blind managed to make a perfect double D in, you know, on the floor in petrol when somebody flicked their fag and they set fire to it and it went into double D, which was very reminiscent of the Brandon Lee Crowe movie, which in the Brandon Lee Crowe movie you could dispel that really, because he was a mythical, a supernatural creature. Daredevil's not supernatural; he's just got superpowers, you know. But yeah, I like the cover of that anyway. So there you go. I haven't, like I said, I haven't read it yet. Where did I pick it up from? I picked it up from a company called Variant Editions. They've got an eBay site and they've got a website as well, I believe. Varianteditions.co.uk, I think. Or if you go onto their eBay site, I mention it because on the back of all the comics you've got all the sticky labels and that, but their sticky label was just cool. I don't know if you can see that. I think that's just brilliant. I think that is just so cool. A little robot there. I just thought it was brilliant. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons, main reasons why I mentioned them really. So yeah, Daredevil 23, Mark Waid writing it. It's going to be brilliant. So right, and on to some comics that I have actually sort of read. Really, I'll start off with. DC, because I know I said that this month was going to be the March. Sorry, I know I said that February was going to be the last month that I got DC comics, apart from finishing the Before Watchmen ones. That was until I found out that the Animal Man and Swamp Thing, the Rot series, wasn't finishing then. No, it was going on for another issue. Yay! So here we have Animal Man number 18, and this is the most tragic day in the life of Buddy Baker. I can only imagine that he's just realised that he's had to, possibly if he was reading this comic, buy 42 comics to get the whole series. Sorry, that was a dig, wasn't it? I don't care. Yeah, surprisingly enough, the Rot World, the end of the Rot World story, to me was quite an anticlimax, with the whole alright, there's a big battle with the last remaining heroes on Earth and the last remaining humans that have been transformed into these supernatural creatures like Frankenstein's monster, and the, you know, the heroes and the villains and everybody on Earth and everything that's been infested by the rot. And then the anti-climax of, if you haven't watched it yet, spoiler alert. If you've read it yet, spoiler alert. But I'm sure everybody's read it. To me, the anticlimax of Anton Arcane jumping into a time vortex whirlpool timey wimey thing, and going, you know, and going back in time, and then Animal Buddy Baker and Alex Holland having to go back in time as well. I found it was very anticlimactic for my liking. I don't know what I was expecting from the actual ending of that story, but after all the comics that I've read to get to that point, I felt like I really needed something a bit more oomphy, really, than what they gave us. I thought it was very, but by the by, and in this one, we see Animal Man, Buddy Baker, go back in time. He manages to save his daughter from becoming an avatar for the rot, only to lose his son, who is killed by Anton Arcane's son and Abby Arcane's brother. And that's basically it, really. that's the whole comic in a nutshell. Jeff Lemire is a brilliant writer. There's no two ways about it. He is a brilliant writer, and I think on any other day, this book would have been in the top of my list. But because it's just taken so long to get to it, and it's just, yeah, not really. It's not really grabbing me, really. Steve Pugh artwork in it is sublime. It's nice to see him back on the book, and I don't know. I'm giving up on DC anyway, really, because I just can't trust them personally. After being a massive DC fan for well over 30 years, now I just feel I can't trust DC to write a decent story that will grab me. It grabbed my attention, really. If I see Animal Man number 19 going fairly cheaply on eBay, I might pick it up, but other than that, I probably won't. So yeah, that's Animal Man number 19. And really, on the same note as Animal Man, we have Swamp Thing number 18, and I really can't say anything more about Swamp Thing that I haven't already said about Animal Man. It was a bit more of an emotional comic, I suppose you could say. The fact that, and again, spoilers if you haven't read this, the fact that Alex Holland had to kill Abby Arcane in order for her to become the new avatar for the rot, so that she could take the powers from her uncle Anton Arcane, so that they could destroy him. And because they've done that, because Alex Holland did that, or Swamp Thing killed Abby Arcane, now Swamp Thing is part of the Green, Abby Arcane is now the avatar of the rot. They can never be together as a couple. They always have to be apart now. They can never be with each other. The only thing that really was a slightly upside to it was the bodies of Abby Arcane and Alex Holland were laid to rest next to each other, which was a nice touch. You know, it wasn't really a tearjerker, so to speak, but yeah, it was a nice ending for the Swamp Thing part of the Rot world. don't know what you could call it, the Rockwool story arc. I was trying to think of something else to call it there, but yeah, it was a nice ending. It was a nicer ending to the Swamp Thing's story arc for the Rock World than I think the Animal Man one was. And Scott Snyder, you know, he can't do anything wrong. He's doing blinding stuff over at DC Comics. If it wasn't for the fact that Batman was now $3.99, and the fact that they're constantly putting crossover over crossover over crossover with every other Batman related story with that comic, and you need really to get all the comics so you know what's going on in the story. I would be picking up Batman more than likely, and you know, I'm tempted to pick up the new Vertigo series from Scott Snyder as well. I'm tempted, but you know, I thought it was an ongoing, but I recently found out it was only a 12-issue maxi series. So, but you know, like I said, Scott Snyder has been doing blinding work. He's probably the most prolific writer at DC Comics at the moment. He is, I would say, he's surpassed Jeff Jones at the moment. Not necessarily for his body of work, but for the quality of his writing at this time. I think Jeff Jones has spread himself way too thin with all the comics that he's writing, and he's just, Jeff Jones has just really not done himself any favours with everything. He needs to stick with one comic only, Aquaman, and be done with it, and stay with that one really. But yeah, Swamp Thing, it was okay. It was a better comic than Animal Man anyway. So yeah, still with DC, and I got this because it was the final issue of the mini-series. Steve Niles is a fantastic horror writer. He's one of the best horror writers around, and it's the final issue of Lot 13, number 5, and we finally find out what happens to the family at the end. Do they get out of the house? Do they get out of the apartment block? Do they manage to save the spirits of the dead people that are stuck in the apartment block? And the twist at the end of this is really worthy of a really good horror story. Glenn Fabry's artwork in there is typical Glenn Fabry. You know, you either like his artwork or you don't. I like his artwork personally. You know, I don't want to spoil the ending of it for everybody because, yeah, you've really got to read this. If you haven't been picking this up in the single issues, get it in trade when it comes out because it is definitely worth it. If you like horror comics, you will definitely like Lot 13. It is really good. It wasn't even, sometimes you get, you know, miniseries and that they're a bit of a slow starter, but this was just bang on. Every issue was brilliant. So yeah, that was well worth picking up. What we've got now? Oh, we've got some Marvels now. And first up for the Marvels, we have Avengers number 7. And it's the White Event in Universe 616. Excuse me a minute. Thirsty. Excuse me. Yeah, if you don't know what the White Event is, way back in 1980, 86, 87, possibly 88, Marvel Comics had the sequel to Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, which they called Secret Wars 2, where you had this omnipotent being called the Beyonder who decided that he wanted to know what it was like to be human. At the end of that series, a all the energy that was in the Beyonder was shot off into space and ripped through space, the space-time continuum, and created a whole new universe, strangely enough called the New Universe. In that universe, there was the White Event. It was called the White Event, strange enough, because there was this big white flash of light, and then certain people manifested superpowers. There was loads of comics that come out with it. The main one was Starbrand. You had was it Nighthawk, Shadowhawk, Spitfire, Justice, and loads of other ones that come out. It didn't really, the actual original series didn't really take off that well, for various reasons. I only read a few of them, which I thought they were okay, and I will probably see if I can pick up a lot of them when I have finished with completing some of my already comics that I've already decided I want to complete, like my Doctor Who and Valiant comics and such and such. But we now have the White Event in Marvel Universe 616, the main Marvel Universe, and it turns out that the White Event is something that happens in a universe when the people of Earth are ready to be integrated into the universe, so to speak, which I think is a bit strange, because the Marvel superheroes from Universe 616 have been going into outer space and everything for decades, really. So, you know, it's a bit of a peculiar one. We find out that the creature that was created on Mars, called Adam, is basically the bringer, the avatar of, for the he's the, oh, what's what I'm looking for? He's the precursor for the White Event. He's there to tell people that the White Event's going to happen, but it's the last White Event. There's not going to be any more White Events in any more universes for some reason. Which we will, I'm sure we'll find out later on. I think that this is possibly one of the best Avengers comics I have read since I read Jeff Jones' run on the original numbered Avengers comics, which was, oh, I can't remember. It was before Bendis got his hands on them. But yeah, Jonathan Hickman writing in this is just been absolutely brilliant. Loving every issue of this. Dustin Weaver artwork, and with Justin Ponsor, is their artwork in it is just brilliant. I'm loving every minute of it. Only thing I've got a problem with this comic, and it's with most comics that are coming out with Marvel at the moment, is, and you know what I'm going to say, one, the price, $3.99, and as well as that, two, is the fact that it's a fortnightly comic now. You're getting 2 Avenger comics each month, which, if it was a $2.99 comic, I wouldn't really have a problem with. But $3.99, that's $6 a month that you're spending for one comic series, really. And I mean, and as much of a good, as much as a, not a good, a fantastic read for this, it's still very pricey. I will keep on getting it for as long as I can get it for relatively cheap. But as soon as either something else comes up, or I find that I can't afford to get it, sadly, yeah, it's gonna have to go, unfortunately, which is a shame because it is a really good read, and it will end up probably going the way of Snyder's Batman, which, as I said, I was picking up when it was $2.99. As soon as it went to $3.99, I dropped it because there were better things out there. But yeah, I think this is definitely going to be one of those ones where it's probably going to be cheaper to pick it up in trade than it is to get the single issues. But I like my single issues, so. Yeah. And what else have we got? There we go. We got the Age of Ultron, which I'm sure a lot of people have bought. I was a bit disappointed actually, because I was on the understanding that it was a chromium cover. Now, this might be just in the interpretation or the translation of the word chromium. To me, a chromium cover is the same as the cover that you got for the original Bloodshot series #0 from Valiant Comics. Also, the original X-O Man of War #0, which was this like soft, metallic-y plastic that was wrapped around cover, and you had sort of like the picture put on there. And I don't think I've actually got any here at the moment. I think I've shown some pictures of it recently. Let's have a quick look. Ow. I don't think I've got any here, and I won't do this for too long. But you know, you know, the chromium covers for me were these metallic-y, almost embossed on a soft plastic. Let's have a look. Ah, here we go. Yes, Ninjak #1. Now, to me, this is a chromium cover. Yeah. Yeah, this is a chromium cover. Yep. Yeah. All shiny, and like I said, strange metallic-y, plasticky paper sort of thing. Valiant Comics loved doing this. There's another one, Psylords, which is another chromium cover. Right. To me, this isn't a chromium cover. This is what used to be called a 5th colour foil embossed cover. I know, fanboyish and geeky and nerdy and all that use stuff. It's not per se, to me, it's not a chromium cover. It is an embossed 5th colour metallic cover, because it's just cardboard there. It's just a cardboard cover, and same on the back as well. Yes, it's shiny. It's shiny, but this is what I've always thought chromium covers were. But again, that's just semantics. You know, I'm probably just being a bit picky on that. Besides that, the actual comic, the actual story in it, was really good. I really enjoyed it. I haven't got a clue what's going on in it. You are literally dropped slap bang in the middle of complete devastation of, from what I can gather, it being the whole world. Ultron has taken over. His drones are all over the planet, destroying, killing people. You know, not even taking names and anything like that, just killing people. And we see Hawkeye running around shooting bad guys in the neck, and we find out it's all so that he can save Spider-Man. From what I can tell, it's the Peter Parker Spider-Man. Now, I know that, I think it was Bendis said that there was going to be a couple of stories whilst Superior Spider-Man was the Dr. Octopus Spider-Man was running around in his Superior Spider-Man comic. There was going to be a couple of stories that had the original Peter Parker Spider-Man in them. I believe this is one of them. Again, purely by the way he reacts and he acts and the things he says and that. Like I said, I haven't got a clue what's going on. You are literally dropped into a middle of a battle, dropped into the middle of a war zone. You don't know whether. Sorry, our rats are having a fight for some reason. Stop it, you two. It says now in it, and so I'm taking it that it's now in comic book, timeline sort of now thing. It is actually happening now. But which now? I know from reading previews and Marvel previews and reading bits and pieces on the internet that there is going to be a lot of spoiler. I know people don't like it. There's going to be a lot of time travel going on with this. Okay, so whether that means that there's an alternative timeline, it's a different universe, it's happening. It's actually happening, but by the end of it, it's going to be negated because it's going to have stopped being. It's going to have stopped happening before it actually starts happening, or I don't know. But on the whole, it was a really good read. I enjoyed it. I really did. Two problems I have with it. Again, the price, $3.99, and the fact that I thought it was fortnightly. Then I was told that it was weekly. I think I've actually found out it's not weekly. It's every week, bar the 4th week. So you've got issues 1, 2, and 3. Issue 1 was last week. Issue 2 is this week. Issue 3 is next week. Then the 4th week of the month, there's not one. Then you get issue 5, issue 6, issue 7. Sorry, issue 4, issue 5, issue 6. The next month. The month after that, you get issue 7, 8, and 9, and so on. So yeah, that's what I've garnered off of that. So I'm just looking through the comics that I just picked up from over there. I've had them for ages, don't worry about it. Next, we have possibly one of the most controversial comics that came out last week, and that is Superior Spider-Man number 5. Again, from Marvel Comics. Loads of people have put up reviews and their views on it and what they feel about it and how they feel about it. At the end of the day, no matter what happens in this comic, Peter Parker will be Spider-Man again. Whether it will happen after issue 12 or issue 9, because I know there's some big thing happening in issue 9 and 10, whether it'll happen after that or whether it'll happen after issue 12, whether they'll keep this going and they'll change it just before Amazing Spider-Man number 2 comes out, which is going to be the big changer for this comic. They'll have to have Peter Parker back in the driving seat of his own body by then. If you don't know what happened in it, again, spoilers. Dr. Octopus Peter Parker kill somebody. Possibly. You don't actually see him kill the person, there is all you see is the gun in Spider-Man's hand, a blam, and then some news report saying he took him out, he did what he had to do. You know, to me, he might have. To me, that means that he could have possibly killed him. Some people might possibly say that the fact that some people in the news reports that were there saying he took him out, might have meant that yes, he shot him, but he didn't kill him. And at the end of it, we see the spider bots, which seem to be infesting the whole of Manhattan and New York, that Doc Ock Spidey has created. I have got only one trepidation about this comic, and I'm hoping the one thing I've got a problem with this is I'm waiting for the first nut job to go out in a specific drinks company t-shirt and start shooting people. Yeah. Just recently you've had, and I know it's mostly in America, and this is nothing against America or Americans or anything like that. There's a lot of things that's been happening over in America with gun laws and everything, and personally that's up to them what they want to do with their gun laws and that. You know, if they want to keep, you know, the right to bear to arms just in case the British royal family decide to invade America again for whatever reason, that's up to them. But I'm not saying that this comic is going to be the reason why some nut job is going to start shooting people, because basically if you have a nut job and they have the feeling that they need to shoot people, they will shoot them. Simple as. There is no way about it. You know, if you've got somebody who needs to be on heavy medication and either they don't take the medication or they haven't been prescribed the medication, they're going to do something that they're not supposed to do. It happens, you know. To blame, if and I hope, for whatever deity you believe in or whatever you know, whatever you want to say to, I hope that it doesn't happen, because it will be, if it does happen, it will be this comic that the media could latch onto, and they will be sitting there going, "Oh, comics are bad. How dare they? This is terrible. Children are jumping off of buildings thinking they can fly and setting fire to themselves because they think that they're the Human Torch, and sticking their fingers in the electric socket because they think they're Iron Man." And you know, and it's not the fact that it's because they're reading the comics and they're doing that. It's just the fact that they're idiots. You know, and I can see the whole you know, Frederick Wortham. I refuse to call him Dr. Frederick Wortham, because as far as I'm concerned, he probably used his doctorate to wipe his arse with the way he wrote his book, the Seduction of the Innocent, and that, and what he did to comics at the time. Basically, in my own personal opinion, Frederick Wortham was a complete moron who had no clue about anything. But that's my own take on things that happened in the past, and I'm off my soapbox. But this, the actual comic was really good. The story, what Dan Slott is doing with this, it is, whether you like it or you don't like it, it is revolutionary for the character. It's taken Spider-Man to a completely different path. He is going on a completely different level. You have not got this character who's wisecracking, you know, quipping, trying to save everybody. In the Dan Slott, previous Dan Slott stories, where you had characters die and Spider-Man saying, Peter Parker Spider-Man saying, that's it, nobody, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to save everybody. Nobody is going to die if I can help them, if I can stop them from dying. You have now got a Spider-Man who is saying, if you do something wrong, I'm going to kill you. Or I'm going to do something to stop you from ever doing anything wrong ever again. He's done it with the Vulture by near enough killing the Vulture by throwing him into the, whatever you want to call it, the spider light, you know, the spider signal. He's done it to other villains as well, where he's crippled them or done things to them that the Peter Parker Spider-Man would never have done to him. Unless, of course, he was in the black symbiote costume, which he's done a couple of, you know, he was close a couple of times. As the story is, it's a really good story. I'm enjoying reading this. But I think I'm more enjoying reading this because I want to see how they get Peter Parker back into his own body. I'm not reading this because Doc Ock is in Spider-Man's body. I'm reading it because I want to see how they get Peter Parker back into his body and how they get him to you know, really get, how he's going to deal with everything that's happened whilst Dr. Octopus has been in the driving seat, really. But yeah, my only trepidation with it really is that I'm worried that there's going to be some nut job out there that's going to try and emulate what happened in this comic. And like I said, I hope to whatever deity you believe in, I hope that it doesn't happen. But then, yeah, that's my take on it. And like I said, other people have had their take on it. So there you go. And finally, because I have been going on for nearly an hour here, we have Shadow Man #5 from Valiant, the only Valiant comic that came out last week. Any Valiant comic come out? Yeah, wasn't it? And not only do we have the return of Master Dark, who in the original Valiant universe was the main evil character. He was like the dark side, or the Lex Luthor, or the Thanos of the Valiant comics. Not only that, but you also have the return of Dr. Mirage. Sorry, I forgot his name. And this time, Dr. Mirage is a woman, which is fantastic. I've not got any problems with, I suppose you could call them, gender bending characters in comics, as long as it's not done for sensationalism. I'm not going to mention anything about Earth 2 from DC Comics at all, which personally I believe it was only done for sensationalism, just to get people buying the comic. In this one, Dr. Mirage is it's near enough a completely different character, but it's really good. It gives you more details on the new Shadow Man, and also his powers, and also it gives you a bit more insight in the origin of Master Dark. And I just can't see Valiant Comics doing anything wrong. I really do enjoy reading Valiant Comics. I know I say this every issue when I do a review video, or when I do you know, mention comics, or mention reboots, or mention anything like that. Valiant Comics have just been doing everything right since the first comic they brought out. Well, really since Free Comic Book Day last year, when they had their free comic book preview comic come out, they've just been doing everything right. They've reintroduced the characters right. They've rebooted the characters. So if you read the old universe, the new rebooted universe, the characters were still familiar, but they were just tweaked a little bit, or a lot in the case of Dr. Mirage. The design for Dr. Mirage, I think, is just absolutely phenomenal. I think it's really good design. And yeah, seriously, if you're not reading Valiant comics, if you have not got any Valiant comics in your pull list, I really do think you should at least pick up the trades, because the trades are quite cheap. I think they're about $10 for 4 or 6 issues. I think the Archer and Armstrong one was $10, and you had the first 4 issues in there. So, you know, and as well as that, they're not writing the stories to fit into the trade paperback thing. I noticed DC Comics and Marvel do seem to be writing their story arcs to fit into the 6-issue trade paperback format. So you'll get a 6 issues that will combine together so that it will fit into a trade paperback, and then the next story arc will start, or it will be a slight continuation from the 6th issue sort of thing, if you see what I mean. But Valiant Comics just don't seem to worry about that at the moment. One thing I will say about Valiant Comics, I noticed in their June solicitations, that all of their comics have got at least three different covers. You've got the regular cover, you've got the regular variant cover, and you've also got an 8-bit cover, which is just the comic book character in an 8-bit computer game sort of like looking design sort of thing. Which I suppose is a fun thing to do, but it's just as long as they don't do that every sort of like every month. But yeah, Valiant Comics, seriously, if you have not picked up anything from Valiant, get the trades, because they're just doing brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Right, that's it. I have now gone, I don't even know if this is recording now, I have now gone so far over that my timer has stopped. So I think I've gone well over an hour. I wasn't going to go over an hour. I was only going to go on for this for about 20 minutes at the most, and now it's 1:10 in the morning. My life. Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. I didn't realise this was going to be so long. I shall wrap up now then, if that's okay, everybody. If if you've got any comments on any of the comics that I've reviewed here, or the Marvel piece bit or anything, comment section down below. Absolutely brilliant. If you like the video, thumbs it up. If you didn't like the video, feel free to thumbs it down. I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, you thumbs it down, you thumbs it down. You still watch the video, you're still going to give me viewing points on the video. So, but if you thumbs it down, say why you thumbs it down. Seriously, it doesn't take long to click the thumbs down button and just say something in the comment section. Yeah, if this is the first time you've seen my channel, if this is the first time you've seen one of my videos, I would like to say they don't usually go on for this long, but once I start talking about comics, yeah, they do end up getting quite long. One more thing I'm going to say: Sunday, 1900 hours, GMT, the British invasion, the boys are back, and we have a special guest as well, and it is the ExcaliburBrits. If you missed it last week, I'm going to put a link down in the description box thingy down below so that you can click on it, so you can see our first podcast. don't want to pat myself too much on the back, and if I could, I'd pat both Ghost Critic and Dr. Monkeybot as well. But I think we did a blinding job on I think we did an absolutely fantastic job. But then, yeah, what else am I going to say? Yeah, if you've got some time, please feel free to come and join us on Sunday as we talk about comics and all things geeky and fun and fantastic. There you go. So I trying to get up, and I will see you hopefully on Sunday at ExcaliburBrits. Take care, have fun, enjoy the comics you read, and ta-ta for now.